I was at the hobby shop the other day, and I heard a lot about this game called One Deck Dungeon previously by a company called Asmati Games. And so I went and decided that I'd pick it up sort of on a spur of the moment. Trying to zoom in on this for you guys. And the idea is that the entire game is contained, for the most part, with one deck of cards, which includes monsters, boss monsters, the various levels. The only additional things that are included are the character cards, which are separate, a card for the sequence of play for both the regular game part and also the boss part of the game, and 30 dice, 30 small dice. But there's a lot in this little package, which is pretty small. Not much bigger than 2 decks of cards side by side in terms of size. Anyway, so I had opened this up, looked at it, but I think it's worthy of actually taking a look at on the channel here. So One Deck Dungeon is designed by a gentleman by the name of Chris Sisek. I'm not sure if that's how it's pronounced. Sorry, Chris. And inside we have a rules book, which is nicely illustrated. At least the first half is. Fairly simple. It's sort of like Dotsy meets a dungeon and its dice allocation, but it seems to have some interesting flavor, and it could be a lot of fun for a short game, an hour or less, which for me is about as short a game as I want. I typically am a war gamer, so I tend to like longer games that run at least 3 hours, and somewhere between 4 and 5 are my ideal playing time hours, because that way I can play it down my game club that I go to regularly. Also, there's rules without illustrations, so that if you're just looking to find information on how to do something, it isn't clogged up by all kinds of illustrations, which is a unique concept. I haven't seen that before. So that's nice. Here is the character cards that I alluded to before. And you have, I think, 4 of them here, it looks like. 4, maybe 5. I say 4 here. Amongst them is, for a one-player side, which is denoted where the title of the character is a mage. And on the reverse, for 2 players, so it scales it a little bit. There are also rules for a 4-player game as well. So you have a paladin, a rogue, a warrior, and a mage. And I understand that on the Asmati website there is available for download some additional characters and additional content for the game, which is kind of nice. They support the game. For the campaign mode, okay, there is another character. It's the archer. I had missed that one. And then here's the turn reference chart, which I discussed before. And then for the boss fight, you have additional information on that and how to conduct that. Also included for campaign mode is a pad of sheets to maintain your information from game to game, and to find out what you have earned that you can use in future games during the course of your campaign. The dice that I alluded to look very nice. They're small plastic, like acrylic dice. They come in black, pink, blue, and yellow. To keep track of things for life points and such, you have these hearts, which is interesting. Kind of appropriate, I suppose. And then 6 white cubes to keep track of potions that are used during the course of the game. And then we have the deck of cards, the one deck of the aforementioned One Deck Dungeon. The stairs down the game starts on, where your doom shall begin. Various monsters. These are the dungeons, which are for instance, the Lich's Tomb. You fight the potential down to 3 levels, and then you run into the Chief Lich himself that you got to defeat to win the game. Here you have doors. You have up to 4 doors that you can see on the table, and then what happens is you'll one by one choose which door you want to go in. You flip it over, and you found out, the Glooping Ooze. And if you want to fight them, you can right then and there. If not, you can fight elsewhere, and then maybe come back to them later. Or maybe go down to the next level if the deck of cards are expended. Now, the deck of cards acts as a timer, so you have not a lot of time to do a lot to build up your character, to try to maximize what it is you have for equipment, health, experience, and so on, and items. So the key here is to find that balance between what you need, and so that when you go down to the next level, you'll have an adequate strength and capability to take on the monsters, which will get harder because the dungeons make the enemies more difficult to defeat. While you always succeed defeating your enemies except for the boss monster, the less successful you are in defeating them, the greater opportunity it is that you'll have to lose strength and time, and you could possibly die. My understanding is, not having played the game, is that folks find that the game will tend to defeat them. It's sort of like a roguelike variety of game. For those that play video games, you'll know what it means. Is basically you're fighting what seemingly an endless supply of monsters, and it's just a matter of time until you die. Or in this case, there's a possibility you can win, but your odds are not in your favor. Anyway, this is an opening and a little information about the One Deck Dungeon game. Definitely a game worthy of bringing down to your club or hanging out with your friends and playing, or even playing with family. It's not that difficult of a game from what I can see, and I'm looking forward to playing it. So anyway, until next time, this is Blastpop, and see you later. Bye.